Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radha Madhava, Jai Jaya Nitla Lila Provishta Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivakacharya Susata Sata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivakacharya Susata Sata Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Siladas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Se Kosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai C.C. Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Brihat Madenga Ki Jai Sama Beda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Gora Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to C.C. Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we're reading from a Transcendental Diary, Volume 4. The chapter, the area is Sri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Prabhupada answered a couple of pieces of mail in mid-morning, both from South America. One was from Achutadas, the president of our temple in São Paulo, Brazil, and the letter was dated August 7, 1976, but was sent to Mayapur and then redirected. He described the São Paulo temple as a growing book distribution temple. They have just moved location to what he said was a beautiful new center, and he enclosed a very favorable article from a big, greatest news magazine in Brazil. He also requested initiation for 2 bhaktas and 3 new brahmanas for his temple, and 5 new bhaktas and 1 brahmana who have been recommended by Viraha Swami Maharaj in San Diego. The article was in Portuguese, so Srila Prabhupada couldn't read it, but he was happy to see it. He accepted the new initiates and wrote back, the article looks very nice and the pictures are very positively descriptive. Continue your nice preaching work there with great enthusiasm. From Buenos Aires, Argentina, Panchadrida Swami sent a very encouraging report. The temple president there, and he was about 35 devotees under his care. He recommended 7 devotees for first initiation and 2 for second. He said the new devotees are coming all the time. Also, the temple has had woman devotees for some time. Only one man is a grihasta, and the others are determined brahmacharis who live and breathe for Sankirtan. Here the country is very bad only because of the bad leaders. Actually, there are many cows and nice land. But because the conditions are not very conducive for nice facilities for sense gratification, particularly Noda ever leaps, bloops, or breaks the regulative principles. He also said that they were printing the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto in 4 volumes locally because the economy there is so bad that the government does not allow particularly any imports. In October, he said they will print 50,000 De Volio Al Supremo, the Spanish version of Back to Godhead. He chose one which features an article by Srila Prabhupada called Everything Belongs to God. Because of it, the rampant philosophy of communism is leveled. Srila Prabhupada sent back a simple reply accepting the new initiates, but without commenting on the rest of the report. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Hari Shauris Transcendental Dari ki Jai. The class is in English or in German?
Can you understand English? And we can do it in English.
Who doesn't speak English? Everyone is fluent? Und die Leute, gucken sich das Leute an oder nicht viele?
Usually not.
Okay. Yeah, I can do German, but I think I'll be much more fluent in English. Thinking English for a very long time. So if I speak German, I have to translate in my brain. Okay. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Signs of God, Chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, the King of the Demons. Na shrota nanu vaktayam muktyopi atam mahanasu yastref indriyavan atma Sachaya prana dehayo Nashrota nanu vaktayam Muktyopi atamahanashu Yastev indrandiyavan atma Sachayan prana dehayo Nashrota nanu vaktayam Muktyopi atamahanashu Yastev indriyavan atma Sachayan prana dehayo Nashrota nanu vaktayam Muktyo praja mahamusu Yastrifindriyavan atma Prana dehayo Nashrota nanu vaktayam Muktyo patamanasu Nasendriyavanatma Chachanya prana dehayo. Nashrotananuvakayam. Mokcho pratmahanasu. Yastref indriyavama atma. Chachanya prana dehayo. Ladies. Nashrotananuvakayam. Mokcho pratmahanasu. Sitri Endramatma Nachanya Prana Dehayo Nashrotana Vaktayam Mokcho Pratramasu Yastrif Indra Sachanya Prana Dehayo. Word for word, na, not, Shrota, the listener, na, not, Anuvakta, the speaker, I am, this, Muktya, chief, Api, also, Atra, in this body, Mahan, the great, Asu, life air, Ya, he who, to, but, Iha, in this body, Indyavan, possessing all the sense organs, Atma, the soul, Sa, he, Cha, and, Anya, different, Prana Dehayo, from the life air and the material body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the body, the most important substance is the life air, but that also is neither the listener nor the speaker. Beyond even the life air, the soul can also do nothing, for the super soul is actually the director. In cooperation with the individual soul, the super soul conducting the activities of the body is different from the body and the living force. So purport. The personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Savasya chaham ido savristo matas mir yanam apurhanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Also, the Atma or soul is present in every material body. Dehenosmi yata dehe. He is not actually the chief person acting through the senses and mind and so on. The soul can merely act in cooperation with the super soul because it is the super soul who gives him directions to act and not to act. Matasmir yanam apona mancha. One cannot act without his sanction, for the super soul is the uparasta or anumanta, the witness and sanctioner. One who studies carefully under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master can understand the real knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the conductor of all the activities of the individual soul and the controller of their results as well. Also, the individual soul possesses the indriyas or senses. He is not actually the proprietor, for the proprietor is the super soul. Consequently, the super soul is called Rishikesha, or the individual soul is advised by the direction of the super soul to surrender to him and thus be happy. Savadaman pariksha mam ekam saraman raja. Thus he can become immortal and be transferred to the spiritual kingdom, where he will achieve the highest success of an eternal blissful life of knowledge. In conclusion, the individual soul is different from the body, senses, living force, and the airs within the body, and above him is the super soul who gives the individual soul all facilities. The individual soul who renders everything to the super soul lives very happily within this body. Om Adyanat Mirandasya, Jananjana Salakaya, Shakshu Onminitam Jena, Tasmai Si Guruve Namah. Okay, Bhagavatam, where are we? I don't know. Even I don't know where this pastime takes place. We know that Para lifted the earth back in orbit, and then Hiranyaksha objected because he had thrown it down. A severe fight broke out, and he was killed. So he's laying down, and Hiranyakashipu, his brother, came, tried to pacify them. The sun is setting, it says, in the west. The body needs to be cremated, so it doesn't start to get smelly and bad. And also the auspiciousness is maintained, so it must be quite a scene. He was not a small person, he was an important person. He must be decorated with all sorts of ornaments. He was a king, he was a ruler, and he had many wives, and many children are there. And first Hiranyakashipu tried to pacify his nephews and his brother's wives. And then a small boy came. Who is that small boy? So some are still remembering. So then 2 days back I gave the class, and basically there it gave a little different version. It spoke about the eight elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and ahankara, the false sense of ownership, the false ego. And then yesterday, it is also actually very, I was in the park walking, sorry I missed your class. It was a nice description, because he's saying, why are you crying? So it's a very valid point, right? The body is still there. I mean, the scientists here in the West have also tried. They have measured the bodies, you know. Is there any weight lost? Is there anything has been gone from this body? No, we see the body is in the hospital bed, the body is alive, and everyone sits around and everyone is still in anticipation that maybe he will make it. And everyone knows, you can see it. I've really seen it only once, very long back. His Holiness Namada Goswami was there in Vrindavan, and he had, I think, Parkinson disease. He had come to die, and then he didn't die. I think it took 2 years or 2.5 years. 2 times he almost died. He fasted, he didn't eat, he got skinnier and skinnier. He was a very big man before, and he got skinnier and skinnier. And 2 times it looked like he died, and finally everyone given up on the idea that he's actually dying. And then finally the message came like, hey, he's really dying this time. I think I brought a tulsi plant. Something I brought, I think a tulsi plant, and then Bhaktivishwa Maharaj bought his shilas and put him on his chest, and we put the tulsi plant and we chanted. And then it looked like he took his last breath, and then maybe 1 minute nothing happened, and then one more big breath came, and that was it. So you could see that we read the description, the soul left, it's at last breathing away, and then he was dead. So how much you measure, so the boy, Yamaraj in the form of the boy said, why are you crying? The same, whatever you were loving, whatever you're seeing, it is still here, right? The body is still there. So that is, even the materialist should try to understand, the body is still there. So why first you're sitting there in anticipation, and then you see the last breath, and then everyone is feeling sad? Whereas actually the body is the only thing which we could perceive is still there. So even the karmis understand and saying now he is gone. So that means he was not the body. Whereas their concept is like a computer. I'm looking into my computer, is telling me something. I can open pages here, and then when the computer breaks, then this information is not coming anymore. So they're thinking the body is a machine. Evolution. The idea is evolution, that there was a primordial soup. After the Big Bang, everything flew apart, and then very organized universes came out from that who are functioning very accurately, but it happened by chance. And then in one of the universes, out of so many universes, there was one lucky planet which had just the right temperature and the right chemicals and the right situation, and it was the right time. And then one spark happened, and one very complex amino acid evolved out of the spark, and then this amino acid for some reason multiplied itself, and out of those amino acid became more complicated amino acids, and they evolved themselves, and eventually thinking and feeling living beings came out like machines. They're thinking it's mechanic, as the body is a mechanical item, and because the cells in the brain which are interacting with each other, it is actually bizarre. It is mad. They're thinking this machine is creating the consciousness, and that machine is still there, and they're saying now the person is gone. Basically, should say the machine stopped working. Because if it was only this body, then how he is gone? He is still there. So that was yesterday's sloka. So today, this is very interesting, because 2 days back in the class, I give that example from the Katha Upanishad, where it says that the living soul, the living being, the soul, and the super soul are sitting on a tree, and the soul is enjoying the fruits, whereas the super soul is just watching. But today, it says that the super soul is actually conducting the activities of the body, and is different from the body and the living force. In the sloka, the living force, the life air, is described. So the life air is basically the. I have the key. The life air is described. The life air is described, and what is the life air? The life air is that consciousness which surrounds the soul. It is when this body is moving, it is an energy which moves it. We're thinking that the muscles are moving it. The scientists again were thinking that this brain is sending out sensations, and this. Whereas we as devotees, we understand that consciousness, life comes from life, and even the karmis understand that. What is a living thing and what is a dead thing? What is the difference? Consciousness. The thing is conscious. No? If you even put a single cell organism in some environment, and then introduce maybe heat or light or something which it doesn't like, it will try to, if it has that ability, to move away and try to go to a comfortable situation. So it's conscious. It can, whatever little that might mean, it is seeing himself different from the surrounding, and is trying to find for its condition comfortable situation. So that is basically the life air is made out of the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego, and the contaminated consciousness. When yesterday we were saying that the dead body is still laying there, so what is gone? So gone is actually the soul, and the soul is accompanied, as we're seeing here today, by Paramatma, by the super soul. So the super soul is going along with the soul, and then with the soul are the different coverings: the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, and the false ego Between the false ego and the soul is the contaminated consciousness, which makes the soul feel that I'm this body. That is the false ego, the ahankara. So, but we had the feeling that, as I said, the Paramatma is just watching. But now we have that little book. I think the cover is on "Life Comes from Life," where there is a picture of the atom. Is that on "Life Comes from Life"? Or "Scientific Base of Krishna Consciousness"? It's an old picture where we see an atom, and inside is Vishnu. I think everyone has. It's a famous ISKCON picture. So if we drive that down, is that not an atom moves without the permission of the Lord. It is said not a blade of grass will move without that is also in Bhagavatam, with the permission of the Lord. So the soul is the one who's identifying with the material body, and due to that, this material body is going from life form to life form. But the Paramatma is sitting next to the soul, and it is the Paramatma who basically is giving the permission, and it is the Paramatma who's making it happening, because when we're coming into this world, we're coming with nothing. So we are thinking, this is my body. And even when the soul comes originally into this material atmosphere, even first the Lord is looking over that, and it is Mahatattva. I don't know it's a whole nother level. First, when in this universe the creation started, the Lord's glance is, it's in Brahma Samhita, is there. The Lord's glance over the Mahatattva, and then it gets activated. It turns into Pradhan. So what is the Lord's glance? Anyone know? The Lord is looking at the Mahatattva, at the material energy, and then the material energy turns into Pradhan. Yeah, that word impregnated is used in Brahma Samhita, but what is that actually, that glance? What makes unanimated matter animated? Huh? No, it's time. Huh? Unanimated matter becomes animated by time. If there is no time, then we could have this body forever, right? In the spiritual world, the people are not under the influence of time, so they're maintaining their body. So even in the heavenly planets, they're not getting old and sick like we are, but they're wearing a garland. And when that time comes up, the other day Sarvabhauma was saying, if you earn a certain amount of money, then you can stay in a costly hotel for a while. If your credit card runs out, then they throw you out. They give you a couple of days, maybe grace period. First they say, hey, pay your bill. Next day they say, more seriously, pay your bill. Finally saying, if you don't pay your bill then. And finally they say, now you don't pay your bill, you have to go. So they're not dying like we are dying. They're wearing a garland, and slowly the garland is fading. So the same thing. So time is the factor. So it starts that the body doesn't belong to us. The body doesn't belong. It's made from pradhan. It's made from matter, and then when the soul is entering, this ahankara, this false ego, is also not ours. Neither is the intelligence ours, nor is the mind ours. These are all subtle energies of the Lord, which have been rented by us, or have been borrowed by us. So Srila Prabhupada gives that example, that some people, the Mayavadis, they're thinking they're very renounced. But he's saying, how can you renounce something that doesn't belong to you? It's like when you come out from the bathroom and you flush that thing, and you're thinking, now I've renounced. I'm very renounced. You got rid of something which you anyhow didn't want and which didn't belong to you in the first place. So the Mayavadis are actually doing the wrong thing. So the only thing how you actually can be renounced is by using, that's our philosophy, by using what has been given to us in the service of the person who it is belonging to. So this whole section here is about that. The whole purport is about that. Is that we actually, the super soul is sitting with us. And the other day I also said that already in the class. We should not misunderstand. When we are leaving this material body, we're hearing Tukaram or some great souls. We have that description. When people are leaving the body, then the Vaikuntha airplane comes and the Vimana comes and takes them back towards. On the way, the material energy will left behind, and then the Ahankara will left behind. The contaminated consciousness is already gone, and then also the Paramatma will be left behind, because there is in the spiritual world, we're directly under the guidance of the Lord, we're with the Lord, we're fully conscious of the Lord. Only here, when we're coming into this playground for the conditioned souls, here the Paramatma is looking after this energy. So we see this. We see the other day I spoke about this. This demoniac quality comes, and these machines are coming. Basically, they're trying to imitate the Lord. This machine here is almost like a Paramatma. No, it knows when I wake up. It knows when I go to sleep. It knows where I walk. He knows what I'm doing. He knows what I'm buying. He knows what things I'm watching. But it is not for our benefit. No, it is for the benefit of the company who's trying to squeeze money out of us. Whereas the Paramatma is ultimately the provider, and he is our well-wisher. That is very important to understand. My son Nanda Kumar other day asked the question, the Karmis many times are asking, if God is all good, then why there's so much suffering, or why people, why small children get sick? They're innocent. They have not done any sin yet. So why 2-year-old children getting a cancer and suffering from very badly and then die? And so many people thinking, if there's a God, why that can happen? But that is not true. That means in their last life they have done something which was really not favorable, and so due to that they're getting punished, even they're still small. So we have to see that this Paramatma is all pervading, and it is everywhere. So Srila Prabhupada is referring us to another sloka, Savrasya chaham hidi sani visto matasmya janam apona mancha videscha sarve aham eva vedo veda vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham. So he is situated in everyone's heart. Yet now it comes more interesting. For me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Now we can see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is saying, we both together have been in many lives. I can remember all of them. And then he said, now this parampara is broken and this knowledge is lost. And so now I'm giving the knowledge again to you. So, and we all know that. I think our kids are grown up in Krishna consciousness, but we've been karmis before. Yeah, you've been devotee from birth? No. So how long you're around? 2 years. You was a nice kami before, meat eating and drinking?
Yeah, when I was young.
Yeah. So me too. And then how it is possible that now you're sitting here?
Because the devotee reached out to me.
Yeah, but the devotees reach out to so many people.
I don't know. Maybe
Because due to past pious activities, the living entity had a desire to serve the Lord. And then particularly when we've newly come to the temple, maybe you brought your friends also. No, I tried with my friends, and they were my old good friends, but they looked at that and they couldn't develop the same enthusiasm as me because the Lord did not give them the knowledge. He did not reveal. Some Christians are also very pious and very much into it. So other people also go to the church, but they're not into it because that knowledge has not been revealed. Now, how does that come that we're sitting here? You ask yourself sometimes why you are here, and there's so many others in Cologne, they're not coming here. No, because basically the living entity, when it comes into this area of sense enjoyment, first is trying to enjoy his senses, and then eventually it gets tired and is asked himself this question: why I'm here, why I'm suffering, and then it tries to. In the first step, it does not understand what is God, but it understands that I should be doing good to others. And that is common here also. We see people feed people close people give charity, all sorts of things to help other living entities. So then it is described, I always give that example, that it is a pious activity to plant trees at the side of the road. It's a very simple thing. You see everywhere in Europe, the old street, there's trees at the side of the road. Why is there? So that the person, first of all, you know where's the road, and when the fruit time is coming, people can pluck fruits, and when people are travel on the road, they're in the shade from the sun or from the rain or whatever. So it is a pious activity. So the person planted the trees, that doesn't mean anything. Other people appreciate. But one day, a Vaishnava or great soul walks down the road, and he feels tired and he sits under the tree, and then he's thinking, oh, blessed are the person who has planted that tree. So when you plant the tree, you're getting sukriti. When you serve other people, you get sukriti. Okay? But sukriti is only creating the fertile soil. It is not creating devotional service. It only makes the soil fertile. And then when you meet the devotees or when you please the devotee, then that sukriti, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes, turns into bhakti sukriti. So it's a different variety of sukriti, and that sukriti enables you that when you come in contact with Krishna consciousness, that the Paramatma gives this knowledge. He gives remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. That forgetfulness of Krishna will go away, and the knowledge of Krishna and the remembrance of Krishna will be opened. Therefore, it says here, the living entity forgets everything of his past life, but still we have to act in this life according to the situation of our previous lifetimes. We're not aware why we're sitting here, why we have come to the temple. We don't know why we have taken birth in this particular family, or why we have this particular person as our child. We don't know all that. But the Paramatma, he knows what we have done in the past, and he makes sure that we're getting exactly what we deserve and also what we desire. Savaboma made that point and in the class the other day also. We have to always keep that in mind. There's two factors here. There's two factors. So one factor is we are performing with this material body, we are performing our activity. And according to Jai Sisi Vijay Goranga Daila Nitai ki Jai Sila Prabhupada ki Jai. With our body we are performing activities, and as I said, good activities will get sukriti, and bad activity will get bad reactions. But more important than that is desire. Because desire will really make the change. If I desire something, then because the Paramatma is sitting in the heart, we are thinking nobody is watching us, but the Paramatma is sitting in the heart, and if we strongly desire something, then we are getting it. I mean, why somebody becomes a leader of a very big country, like a world power? Why somebody is getting there? He has done a lot of charity. He has done some sukriti. He's maybe demoniac, but he has given a lot of charity. But ultimately, it is desire. He must have desired that. First, he was a small leader. Next life, he was a little bigger leader, and he had a strong desire to get that. Without that desire, nobody will end there. So for us, it is very important also that we desire. That even if we're not making it this lifetime, even Srila Prabhupada says, after millions of lifetime, we have surrendered to Maya, please give one lifetime at least to Krishna. It sounds very easy. It's not that easy as it sounds in the beginning, particularly if we're new. But we should just give one lifetime. So it is very clear that, back to the subject, that the Paramatma, the super soul, is there, and the super soul is guiding us. And then we have different stages, as I described 2 days back. First, somebody comes and realizes this is a bad place, a material world. He's a Mayavadi, Sunyavadi. So he's thinking, if I can just give up material desires and I stop to exist, then I don't suffer anymore. And then the Advaita philosophy is there that I can become one with the Lord. I also stop my individuality, but I'm not stopped to exist, but I stop to exist as an individual. I join into the Brahman effulgence, so I become part of that effulgence. And then later on, we realize that the soul and God are different, or Mahaprabhu's Achinta Beda Beda Tattva. So we are here and we know that, but we have to also understand that the purpose of the Vedas, it is to understand Krishna. All this, what is written here and what we're discussing, the Vedas are very vast. And we can see Vyasadeva, when you go to India and when you go to the Himalayas, there's a place called Badrinath, Badrika Ashram. It's one of the 4 holy dhams which surrounds India. It is in the north, it is Badrinath, and then in the east it is Jagannath Puri, and in the south it is Rameshwaram, and in the west it's Dwarka Dham. So when you go a little bit ahead from this Badrinath, I think it's about 3-4 kilometers, there's a village called Mana. And at the end of Mana, a little bit up, there is a big rock, and it looks like slates of paper are laid on top of each other. And underneath is a little cave, and Vyasadeva is sitting there. It's a Ganesh Gufa. Ganesh cave is nearby because Ganesh written down the Vedas. He broke his tusk and written it down for Vyasadeva. So there he sat, and then we hear at the end, after he compiled, the Vedas were all there in spoken form. He's the one who actually pinned it down, because in Kali Yuga, the people don't have that memory anymore, where they can remember the whole Veda. Long back, we were living in Pandharpur, and one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Vashu Ghosh, came, and he had many kids, and he was always dreaming to find a perfect Gurukul for his kids. So some 150 kilometers from Pandharpur, he had heard is a very special Gurukul, and we took my car and we driven there. And that was a traditional, in a sense. They were all doing Agnihotra every day. And they were all grihastas, and their wives were cooking and taking care of the kids. And they were just doing one thing, they were memorizing the Veda. From morning to evening, they were memorizing the whole Veda. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of slokas, the kids were memorizing the whole Veda. So previously the Veda was memorized. But when Kali Yuga came, that's the whole idea why Vyasadeva started to pin it down, because, and first of all, he sectioned it into 4 sections to structure it a little bit, and then with Ganesh's help, he pinned it all down. So that the people in Kali Yuga, when the memory power is getting less, they can still read the Veda. And at the end, he was unsatisfied, right? And then Narada Muni came by and became his guru and said, yeah, why are you unsatisfied? Because this Vedic literature is just encouraging people to enjoy more, to go to the heavenly planets. Whereas Srila Prabhupada says in that purport here to 1515, he says it is very clearly defined. The idea in the Vedanta Sutra confirms Tattu Samavayayat, that this perfection comes in 3 stages, and the ultimate stage is God realization. It is a realization of Vishnu, or in our case Krishna. So we have to work, and at the end, Prabhupada quoted Savadamam Parikcha Mam Ekam Savaman Raja Ham Tram Sava Prapayo Moksha Shamisa Mat Sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. So we have to understand sometimes as devotees, we also create a religion. We feel that the rituals we're performing all day are making Krishna consciousness. But whereas we're actually performing bhakti yoga, it is a process of knowledge. It's a process of knowledge, and it is a process of realigning ourselves with the Paramatma, and via Paramatma realization. So there's many things in that sloka. Srila Prabhupada quotes Hari Bhakti Vilas, and then he's giving the idea that we have to be very careful, because if the consciousness is not right, then the activity we're performing within Krishna consciousness can just lead to pious activity. It just turns into pious activity, which is good. Then we go to the heavenly planets, and Arjuna asked that question, isn't it? Where does a fallen yogi go in Bhagavad Gita? You know the sloka? Ji? Where does a fallen yogi go, Bhagavati? Anyone? Arjuna asked to Krishna, where does a fallen yogi go? And then, anyone remember the 2 answers? Sure. It's a very common answer. Yes. And takes birth in a pious family of rich merchants or brahmanas, where he can again pick up. And then the second answer? He takes birth in a family of transcendentalists and can perfect his Krishna conscious in this way. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that my spiritual master as well as myself had the fortune to take birth in such a family. Huh, kids? Yes, Pundrik? Fortunate kids? So yeah, we have to be careful that at least even if we don't make it, that is up to the individual. I don't know who will make it or will not make it, but it is ultimately a process of knowledge, and it is a process of consciousness. We have to be very conscious about our activity, and then due to that consciousness, and Krishna says at the end, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry, I'll take care of you. So we're not creating another religion. You have to remember, in the beginning, many times the reporters asked Srila Prabhupada, are you making everyone a Hindu? Are you bringing a new religion? And he said, no, we are not. We are only teaching God consciousness. We are not saying you become a Hindu. You become a good Christian. We are satisfied with that. But don't eat meat, don't kill, follow the 4 commitments. So we have to be very careful that we're not too much get hang up on the externals. Our process is an internal process of each and every person. And so we are here. This temple is here for our purification. But more or less, the temple is here as an embassy of Vrindavan, where we can bring people, and the new people they get purified, or at least they get the first injection Srila Prabhupada says, even if they don't buy the book, if they just touch the book, if they just read one line, one sloka, one word, we shouldn't underestimate that. I always try to give the I seen a lot of and read before I become Krishna consciousness. Basically, my first exposure was this past life regression. People were saying, and there you again and again comes that when people leave their body, that Yamaraj or whatever is happening, and then you come to that situation where you see your whole life in front of you, and then all those people now, maybe the neighbors, they're always complaining, we're playing the Mridanga, or this Hare Krishna is sound, or this or that. But when they're leaving their body, at some point they must have heard Hare Krishna, or they must have seen a devotee, they must have seen the spiritual master, maybe they even eaten a bite of prasadam, and that grants them, and that small situation in the whole gray life will stand out very brightly. And at that moment they regret, why I didn't go to this temple, why I didn't speak to those people, why I didn't do that. And then they're running. So at that point, earlier I said that desire is important. At that moment, they're creating the desire. So sometimes we're thinking we're preaching for so long time here in the West and nothing is happening. So it will take some time. It's a 10,000 year endeavor. It will take some time. So in 50 years, in 100 years, I mean, it's a huge difference. And 35 years when I came, and Hare Krishna, this was like bad. Now nobody feels bad when they see us. I think by now, 15% of the Germans are vegetarians or something. It's a huge number. It's a huge number. So things have to change. As I said earlier, so when we are making Harinam or when we're making Radhayatra, people see Jagannath, people hear Hare Krishna. That is very little only. It's only little water, a little bit fertile, the land is coming, and then they have to build up on that. So we're very fortunate that we are here, and we have to be always conscious about that fortune. The Bhakti Lata is a small plant, it's a fragile plant, a sensitive plant. We have to make sure we're taking out the weeds, and we're putting our little water in the form of hearing and chanting. And then more or less we should use that little knowledge we have that little advantage we have by being in contact with devotional service, and try to give that same knowledge to others. Jai. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Any question?
I have a question. I asked it many times. It's, I know I'm not this body, because a gross body and a solid body. And a solid body, my intelligence, my mind, and everything. But then I know I am the servant of Krishna. But then, okay, what's my mind? I think when you put 80-90% of my mind that's in it, because it's false. I have to not identify with it, so it's gone. I have to put it down. So then you got my real identity. But then where is my individuality? Because Krishna is an individual, and we are also individuals. But where is my individual? So every soul has to put it down. But then we are all the servant of Krishna, and false ego, so the mind is gone. What is left? Who am I? You am I as
Okay. I got it. So ahankara in English is called false ego. So you say, if I give all up, what is left? Well, you also have a spiritual shape, right? Which I don't know how much you're in contact with that, but you are having a spiritual form. So that is left.
Yeah, of course, I know, because you got your...
So first of all, what did I say earlier in the class? I didn't say that we have to give up. That is not advised here, that we have to give up everything. I said that the Mayavadis is like after you come back from the toilet, you feel, I've renounced. That's not what it is, because nothing belongs to us. It is not that we're giving up our individuality. It's not that we're giving up our mind. It is not that we're giving up our thought. We're engaging this settled and gross body which has been allotted to us by Krishna, by the Paramatma. That was today's point, that Paramatma has given us everything and we're engaging it in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, of course, but
So in beginning, yes, there is our sinful tendencies. The sinful tendencies, first of all, the sinful acts we have to give up on the gross platform, and then anatani vritti means we have to give up the sinful tendencies. When you go to, anyone been to Tirupati? You guys, anyhow, Tirupati is a Balaji temple. It's a very famous temple in South India, and it's I wouldn't say on a mountain, but it's on a hill. And the first, I would say, I think the whole thing is what, 5-6 kilometers? Balaji, 7 kilometers? Yeah. So the first maybe 2 kilometers is just steps. It's like steep up. You really work hard. Afterwards, it's still going up the mountain, but very slightly. So the first step is anatani vritti. Anatani vritti. First, we come in contact in sadhu sangha, and then we take initiation. But anatani vritti has to be reached. After that, nistha is perfecting that more. But it's a steep climb until anatani vritti. Anatani vritti is, first of all, you don't do any sinful acts at all, and then also then comes the next step: profit, alteration, and distinction. The sex life first is gross, and then comes the settled: profit, alteration, and distinction. This is very heavy. Profit means that whenever you do something, somewhere there is a section in your mind which will think, what is in it for me? It's very normal. It says, okay, if I'm doing the puja, Mangalati puja, I have to wake up half an hour earlier, but at the end I can walk out with 2 Mangalati sweets. The mind is functioning like that. It is normal. Okay, it is very settled. It is settled. It is not gross. Then profit, alteration means how can I manipulate the situation that it is favorable for me? It can be something very small, or it can be something very elaborate, but you're thinking to manipulate the situation that it is. And then alteration means that a distinction. The next step is distinction, where you're thinking that you're better than others. You distinct yourself. You're smarter than the others, or you're more stronger than the others, or whatever it might be. You speak more language than, in some way you're thinking you're better, or you're distincting yourself from the others. So these three ones are there. So once this step has been achieved, then nistha is only you fix yourself. Whereas anatani vritti, maybe as some little waves are there, but eventually when you reach nistha, you're not coming back down to this situation. You're fixed in devotional service. So then afterwards, the next stages will more or less come automatically. You just have to keep continuing. So you're not so supposed to give up your mind. You're supposed to engage your mind in Krishna's service.
but everyone does that as spirit. So where is the development?
You are looking different than me. Yes? Your parents are different than mine. You are individual, right? No two thumbprints are the same, right? No two irises are the same. We are in this body, we are individual. Now the problem is thinking that we're identifying with this body. Okay? But you are different than me. So we could say we see our guru and then we try to become like our guru, we walk like our guru, we dress like our guru, we speak like our guru. Is that our aim? No. Is that our aim? No. Our aim is to use this body in Krishna's service. Our aim is to use this life air. It spoke about life air. Our aim yesterday, our aim is to whatever we have to give that in Krishna's service. And no servants are the same. In the spiritual world, it's you're thinking all the gopis are doing this, doing the same service. No, everyone is wearing a little different dress. Everyone is doing a little different service. So you are an individual already, even in this material energy. So it is not that you have to give up your mind. It's a very settled thing. You ask the question. I hope I'm pinging down the question. You have to not give up what you are. You have to engage what you are. Krishna is not looking to you give anything up. Some bad things you have to give up. Fine, that is understood. But after that, you have to engage who you are and what you are in Krishna's service.
I understand that just a little bit because I think understanding, but because my fear is a little bit, we are now individual because how you're looking or what you're thinking, you accumulated your body and you accumulated your mind in this life and different lives. What I accumulated in past life, therefore I look like this and
yes.
I think like this, but that's false because the real.
No. That's not false. We're not Mayavadis. It's temporary. No, that's a huge difference. It is not false. You are in a temporary situation. It is not false. Understand? The soul has no relationship to that we're saying here, but it has a relationship. Temporary, it has a relationship. Due to false ego, the soul identifies with his body. We cannot say it is false. Okay? If you get cut, the soul is not getting cut, but due to the ahankara, due to the relationship with the body, the soul is experiencing this situation which you're in right now. It does experience that. So what we have to give up that we're thinking we are the body. But we have to not give up the body right now. We have to use the body as we understand it's an energy given by Krishna. We have to use that in Krishna's service. And yes, Jivan Mukta, eventually you will be liberated and still have a body. Because we could say when you're liberated, then the body will stop to exist, right? But the Guru is also, he's Nitya Mukta, he is there, but he still has a body. It's a very settled point you're making. Yes, Prabhu.
How do we make, usually often I hear from people, and also my own experience, that to different degrees, the spiritual life of devotees is waves, sometimes
yes.
very high and then a bit low and then higher and then eventually maybe close here. But what's the solution? How can we only go up? Not go down.
This place is called Bharatvarsha, this planet. Because once there was a very, very powerful king, King Bharat. We all heard the story, right? And Shudras, basically, they have only one ashram, the Grihastha ashram. And then the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Brahmanas, they're called Drijas. They're twice born. So they go to the Gurukul. So the Vaishya goes a brahmachari and then Grihastha, and that's it. And then the Kshatriya, he also, because he was so much engaged in material energy, he also has the Vanaprastha ashram. And then the Kshatriya, the Brahmana, because he has the knowledge, he can take sannyas, not only for his own good, but because then he can travel and he can preach this knowledge to others. So Bharat, as a nice Kshatriya, he went to the forest and he fully renounced everything. He gave up everything. He sat there, and then he got attached to the deer. And so Sarvabhauma said that, I think here, maybe in another place. I was just listening. So even at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, he was at the stage of Bhava Bhakti. So he had given up Anatta Nivritti. He had been Nistha, then he had Bhava, and still he fall down and became a deer. So hard work is required. Normally we say, hey, this is very easy. Chant, dance, and be happy and feast. So there is no shortcut. There is a little bit of hard work. But as I said earlier, if you keep going, once you reach Anatta Nivritti to Tirupati, that steep climb is over. But you wonder why I'm getting 3 steps up and come 2 steps down. Well, that will require more commitment. How fast you go, that is everyone's individual's free choice. In the very beginning, when we come to Krishna conscious, I think everyone who sits here mostly knows from beginning on that I'm a spirit soul, and originally I have to be with Krishna. Right? Yeah? So now that means in theory at least we understand that we have to give up material desires. Today, tomorrow, next life, after 10 life, after 100 lives, at some point we have to, right? So if we are smart, and if we could be that determined, then why not right now, right? But we cannot, because we are conditioned for many millions of lifetimes. So the samskars are sitting on us. So there is no way. Association there are different angas of bhakti, isn't it? The angas are there. Chant the holy name, right? Reside in a holy place, read Srimad Bhagavatam in association with devotees, chant the holy name in the association of devotees. So ultimately it is the association of devotees. Coming back, that's why I give the example with Bharat Maharaj. If Bharat Maharaj would have had the association of devotees, they would have told him, hey man, let that deer go, isn't it? Any one of you brings a deer in the ashram, everyone, maybe 1-2 days, that's funny, but send it to the zoo, isn't it? So yeah, so association of devotees, that's the answer. That's the answer. And on a more practical way than in the nectar of instruction, there's a different interactions are explained between devotees, and one of them is it's gift and taking gift, giving big as reveal your mind in confidence. I think this is the most powerful thing, and that requires that you actually make friends, intimate friends with other devotees. Because unless you really feel safe with somebody, you will not reveal your mind in confidence.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah?
Somehow, I don't know if this is just my feeling, but because of preaching and outreach, I also encountered other, let's say, hippie communities, and I feel like, yeah, it's very easy to find friends and make intimate friendships, but I find sometimes in the devotee communities, not everywhere, but sometimes it can be difficult to find intimate friendships. And
Yes.
Just wondering, we are like preaching personalism, but then somehow
Yeah.
seems to be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So what's the reason?
What is the 7th purpose of ISKCON? To bring the members of the society closer to each other, together to Krishna, something like that? Closer to each other, together to Krishna? Yeah, we're not doing that. I don't want to speak that really from the Vyasa Sun. Even if you see the Gaudiya Math, it fall apart, and the I would say it is something like that. If you're in a comfortable space materially, in a comfortable space, a group of people is in a comfortable space, it is easy to make friendship. Okay? If you are under pressure, I would say it is more difficult to make friendship. So since we're all climbing up to Tirupati and we are on that steep slope, we all are sweating, we all are struggling. So in that struggle, it seems sometimes difficult to appreciate the others. Is that an answer? This is how I'm understanding that. And yes, and sorry, I don't want to be critical of ISKCON. If you not make a change at some point, we're not going to survive. I mean, I've seen other times, we were like hippies in the temple. Anyone was invited, anyone from the street, we would bring them in and put them in the ashram. Yes, sometimes big disasters happened from that, but we were like that. Now we first look at the guy, is he clean, is he this, is he that? So we are becoming a religion. So we are doing distinction. I don't know if that is good or bad, if that is an evolution. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I'm thinking, I have a close friend in Radhadesh, and one of the next days I will give him a ring and I will chastise him very heavily. I will chastise him very heavily for that only, because I'll just speak my heart on that issue. I'm a devotee. I came here 35 years back, and that time I was a brahmachari. I've been many times to Radhadesh. And if the rooms were full, then they let you sleep in the barn, but somehow or another they accommodate you somewhere. Now, now I'm going there, and I have to pay a particular price, and if the guest houses are full, they're telling me to go to some Kami guest house next door. Come on, what has happened to us? What has happened to us? I mean, I'm a member, I've never taken money from the society, even I'm a grihasta, and I'm coming there with my 3 kids, the kids who were born in our society, and I'm not welcome. Have we become some hotel or something? So yeah, it is a problem. So the change always starts with you, right? Sorry, that was a little negative. I shouldn't have done that. Yes, he asked a question, yes? You? You put your hand?
Yes, please. I was wondering if what you were referring to was non-attachment.
Huh? Try again.
The point you raised, was that about non-attachment?
No, also about impersonal.
The point was, I made the point that we have to reveal our mind in confidence. And I said for that, we have to make close friends with other devotees. Unless we feel comfortable, we will not reveal our mind. But if we don't reveal our mind, I say we ask how to progress, it will be very difficult to progress. If you have a problem with some anatta and you tell it to somebody, I think two-thirds of your problem is gone. Maybe that is also part of the answer to your question, is that first of all, we're lying to ourselves that we are good devotees. And then we try to also show the others that we're good devotees. And then we have an anatta, and maybe we even deny it ourselves. At least we want to don't show the others that we have that anatta, because we're also supposed to preach to others. So it's a complicated thing. So in the moment we're lying to ourselves, then what he said comes into picture. That means we're not actually using this body and this mind in Krishna's service. We're actually trying to cheat, but the Paramatma is sitting there in the heart. He's watching us, right? So you can't lie. That is, and anyhow, it's getting too complicated. Okay, anyone else? Last one short answer.
Thank you, Prabhu. You said, if I heard correctly, you said something like, if people feel more comfortable, come in association and feel more comfortable, it's easier to develop deep relationships. If it's uncomfortable, it becomes harder. How can a temple or the yatra can support deep relationships as a temple?
By being transparent. Is that an answer? Let's say what I do, I make Istagosti once a week. Okay? And in the beginning, everyone just sits and looks at me and waits that I will say something. And then over months or years, eventually people learn that they can say whatever they want to say and there's no punishment. No bad feeling. So then people will say, that is the first thing. You can say, I don't like this type of flowers, I don't like the color. Everyone will have to say something. So in the moment you feel that you can say something and still you'll be accepted by the others. It's all about our fear of not being accepted, right? Why we're not behaving the way we want to behave. Maybe everyone is stepping forward and backward. Maybe in the morning I want to step sideways, but I won't do that because everyone is stepping forward and backward. So I feel if I do it differently, then... So it is all about that. It's all about fear. We are trained in this world that we have to show something. So the hippies, they don't show anything. That is the point you're making. It seems to be easy there because they also have some type of a dress code or behavior code. You have to show that to be a hippie. I guess you can't have a Hakenkreuz auf dem Arm. I'm just saying there's also some code, but basically their philosophy is that everyone can behave as he wants to. So we don't have that. We have a behavior code, and then we start struggling. But the worst thing is what he's saying. In the moment we become impersonal in any way, this is counterproductive. Even on a short term, it looks like productive, but on a long term, it is counterproductive because Krishna is not asking that. He's asking what we have. The bum in 26th Avenue was bringing a roll of toilet paper, and Prabhupada said, look, he's serving. Right? All right. Jai. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Köln ki jai. No.